Many young people seem to get pulled into these dangerous ideologies and destructive habits that we're seeing nowadays online and even in everyone's personal life. The point here is not really to dive deeper into explaining why certain ideologies or certain habits are destructive, or even to understand whether or not being extreme right or being extreme left is a wrong ideology. Because I do believe that at the end of the day, everyone knows when an ideology is wrong, when an ideology is hurtful, when an ideology is filled with hate and built on this platform of hatred, and we're gonna say judging people as being less worth than us. So I really want to discuss just this vacuum of purpose that tend to cause young, especially males, because I am a man and I can give my point of view from that perspective, to why do they fall into these things, and why does this vacuum of purpose create, we're going to call it a black hole that's either going to pull you into negative habits or positive habits. So to define the concept, what is a vacuum of purpose? A vacuum of purpose is when a person doesn't seem to know exactly what is their goal, what is their end goal, what do they want out of this life, who are they, and what type of person do they want to be. And a physical example that we can give to just have this kind of comparison in our head is that whenever you're somewhere and there is a vacuum, it's gonna always get filled. For example, in space, in the physical aspect of space, any vacuum of gravity is called a black hole. And we all know that black holes can't be escaped. So they even suck up light. So if you think about it, if in your soul you have a black hole, this soul is gonna want to be filled. Now you decide what to fill it with. Are you going to fill it with positive habits, with a positive purpose, with a nice purpose, or are you going to fill it with what's available, what's being thrown at us on social media? Purpose is a very important thing. Every single male and female, every single human being on this planet needs purpose. We all need to know that we're part of something a bit bigger than just standing up, filling up Excel sheets and doing PowerPoint slides and decks. A very important thing is that to understand that humans are wired to need meaning and direction in their life. We've all, ever since the dawn of time, the most simple example, the caveman, the men were hunter and gatherers, and the women were also turning houses into homes, right? They would be able to cook. And even nowadays, we can have the exact same thing where a couple of parents, a male and female, you could see that the female can have the purpose of being the breadwinner and the male can be someone who's taking care of the house. Each person needs to have a goal within for himself, a meaning and a direction for his life. Or else you're gonna always feel this sort of lost feeling, this restless feeling. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of male in the ages from 18 to 25 especially tend to suffer so much with feeling something is missing. You'll go to the gym, you'll go to apply to jobs, you'll even work, and you'll always have this feeling where you're not content, you're not satisfied. I always see these videos on Instagram and TikTok where it said after having an amazing pump at the gym, after having an amazing day at work, you come back and something is missing. There's this restlessness in your soul. And without purpose, we all feel lost, tired, empty. It's like you're going in circles. And I've talked to a lot of my close friends, male and female, and I've realized that we all seem to still feel this sort of restlessness. Even, and I'm giving an example from my own self, is like when I was looking for a job, I was very adamant on knowing who I was. I was okay, Mahmoud, I like technology, I like data, I understand that this is the next big thing, I like artificial intelligence, and I was so adamant on finding the right job. I gave myself a huge part of my pride was built on the fact that I knew how to choose my role. And when I ended up going in it and I started realizing, like, is this truly my purpose? Is my purpose to consult with clients? Is my purpose to just fix information systems strategy for big firms? Is this the reason I was put on this earth? And then I started asking myself some questions. And I have the similar thing with a lot of friends that are also, I believe, very intelligent people and people that genuinely do amazing decisions and are extremely smart. And we've all found ourselves in this very similar situation where it's like, okay, we were promised something specific. We were promised a purpose, right? Since we were young, your purpose, you're gonna work in a company, you're gonna be a breadwinner, you're gonna be someone that's gonna change the world, right? We were gonna bring the next generation of leadership into the workplace. We were promised a purpose. We built our life on this purpose. Once we got to it, we started realizing the promise was built on a very, very, very holographic base, on a base that isn't tangible. And for me, really, the thing that I would classify it as purpose is an anchor against chaos. Right now, when I developed my sense of purpose and identity, I promise you, because I went through a rough breakup recently. It was from a long relationship, and I didn't struggle as much as people would seem to struggle. Not because I didn't love the person or anything. The person meant a lot for me, and I did have a vacuum in my soul when I left that person, because we're all used to people. We get used sometimes to people. And the thing is, I didn't struggle a lot because I understood that I had to give myself a purpose. Someone without a purpose, the winds are going to take him left and right. The sea is going to choose your purpose. If a ship doesn't have an anchor and doesn't have direction, then the sea will take it left and right, and you're going to get into a problem. You're going to hit a specific iceberg, you're going to hit a specific rock, you're going to end up losing. So what fills the vacuum is a very important question. As we said before, you decide what you're going to fill this vacuum in your soul. There's two answers for this: negative stuff and positive stuff. So we're seeing online a lot of men, since they don't have this form of direction and purpose and identity in their manlyhood, they're being, let's say it, they're being put on a leash by these red pill influencers. And they're not here to give you what you need to hear and what's the best for you. Andrew Tate, the Fresh and Fit podcast, all these podcasts, they're not here to. Of course, they do say some things that are right and that are good, but in the grand scheme of things, these are salesmen. They're trying to sell you a course. So whatever they're trying to give you, they're going to have to say something that gets a reaction out of you, that gets you angry. Like saying like, all these women, all they do is cheat. And that's not true at all. That's not true at all. I'm pretty sure if every one of us looks at the mother that raised us, we're going to realize women are amazing people. And this goes the same way for female. I've been seeing influencers, like female influencers, like the Wizard Liz, that always talks about like, if he didn't buy you a 50K bag, he's not a man. Talk to 10 men at the same time. And it's not true. Because I'm sure a lot of I have a very close female friend in my life that was telling me always these positive things about her dad, how he's a beacon of hope to her. And that's literally the biggest proof. If we see the people around us, we're starting to notice that it doesn't exist. This gender war will never be true. We're partners. We're not in a constant fight mode with the other gender. And the other part of it is like, what are you going to fill this vacuum with? The positive stuff? And that's it. That's what I personally did. I remember I started to get a bit closer with my religion, understand spirituality a bit more. I wanted to chase knowledge a bit more. I wanted to be a kinder person. And I used to tell myself, okay, Mahmoud, my purpose before was to be the successful guy. I'm going to become an MMA champion to prove them all wrong. And that's not true. That's a purpose that's built on a very weak foundation. A purpose that's built on a strong foundation is on one that you come from a point of self-love. You come from a point of understanding that, you know what, I'm going to become an MMA champion because I deserve to succeed in this. I know I have what it takes to succeed in this. I know I have what it takes to become a great person, to, you know what, to put in the work and see where the work can get me. And the root causes of this vacuum of purpose is that modern society strips away traditional community structures. It strips away stable family ties and even shared values. We're seeing online, everyone wants to fight with everyone. Everyone is trying to constantly find little errors in everyone's religion or in everyone's ideology. And a stable family tie is very important because we learn everything from our parents. It's very important to have a good family tie, to love your brothers, to love your sisters, to love your mothers, your fathers. We're all human. Of course, in some cases, you have abusive family relationships, and that's 100% valid and 100% a problem that has to be dealt with. But at the end of the day, You gain this purpose by talking to people that you want to become like. You don't want to just be like Andrew Tate because he's rich, or be like this football player like Neymar because he's rich, he has girls, he has money. You need to want to have a purpose that is beyond the realm of just money, of just materialistic things. That's why it's so important to choose a good role model for your purpose. And the practical reflection that I encourage everyone to have is to ask, what is my purpose? What would it save me for? For example, my purpose, I've been a relatively bad person in my life sometimes before. I took some decision that hurted some people in my life. And I've made my peace with it because I've understood that I had to make these decisions, these errors, to see how bad the vacuum of purpose is when you let it drag you to a different place, to a place where you want to show off to your friends that you're talking to multiple girls, where you want to show off to your friends that you make money, even if it's not ethically right made money. And the question is, what did my new purpose? My new purpose is I just want to be a good person. I just want to try to be the good I want to see in life. I will always give people a second hand, a chance at redemption. I will always try my best to, even if someone was mean to me, I will always show them my true purpose, that I'm going to be kind and it doesn't affect me how you deal with me. And it saved me from being a resentful person. I went through the negative vacuum of purpose. I went through the negative path, and it left me with so many questions for myself. It left me with so much regret in my own heart. And the small steps to be able to make these practical reflections is to journal, to set goals for yourself, to pray. Whether it is that you believe in God or you believe in the universe, you need a spiritual connection. You need a connection that brings you away a bit from people. Because sometimes, I'll give you an example. If you give $10 to a hobo in the streets, that person can go and buy crack. That's true, right? But you're not doing this good action just for him to owe you to go buy, for example, a salad or something. You're doing this because you want to be a good person. You're doing this for the sake of God, for the sake of good karma, for the sake of the universe sending you that good step towards you again. And in my closing part, I just want to say something that's so key to me. Purpose is not optional. If you don't choose a purpose, it will be chosen and imposed on you. Every time you stray away from understanding who you are and who you want to be, I promise you, the world, people, corporate, social media, they will tell you who you are. And if you're not convinced of who you are, you will do exactly as you're told, and you'll find a huge delta between who you are and who you want to be later on in life. So take this decision today, and my friends, be the ones to choose how to fill this vacuum and who you are, and how to exactly find your purpose. What purpose aligns with who you are? Once again, thank you for coming with me through this video where I discuss a bit the vacuum of purpose and why I believe it's something very important for us to choose a purpose rather than slip into identities that are imposed by people that aren't us, people that maybe don't want the best for us. In the next videos, we're gonna delve deeper into some examples of how this vacuum of purpose can push you into a specific train of thought that isn't very good for you in the long term. Thank you for everyone for watching this video. Leave in the comments any thoughts or opinions you have on this, and looking forward to seeing you guys on the next video, which is very soon.